In this session, we will discuss about integration. First of all, we will go through the introduction for integration. Integration can be considered as an operation which is the inverse of differentiation. It means that if you have given a function fx, what you have done in the differentiation was you have differentiated this function with respect to x, and then you have obtained a quantity for f dash x. Yeah, you use the concept d over dx fx. It is the differentiation. Now this is actually the reverse process of the differentiation that we have considered previously. It is now we are having a quantity which we can name as f dash x. Now you see, if we have given f dash x, the process of obtaining fx using f dash x is called as the integration, and we are using this notation for the integration. This is the integral sign, integration, and here we are denoting the function, and here we will include we are the subject that we are integrating. Therefore, this is what we are discussing here. Here we will include the function. According to our example, we will have the function as f dash x. Therefore, according to the function, here we are having the function f dash x. The function that we have used here will be used at this point. And in the differentiation, what we had done was the function that we have obtained as fx has used in here. Okay. Therefore, this can be actually said to be the reverse process of differentiation. Therefore, if you go through this equation, you can see that. Now think about, if you have given this uppercase letter f, the function denoted by capital Fx, then if you differentiate this function capital Fx with respect to x, then what you will obtain was simple fx. It is actually the derived function for fx in the subject of x. Now, if you come to the concept of integration, what you need to, what you can, what you be able to do is, if you have given the simple fx, now you would be able to identify this capital fx. Therefore, we can say it as this the fundamental idea of integration. Therefore, we can denote it in this way. Here, this is the integral notation, and next we will include the function we are going to integrate, and then the subject that we are considering for integration. Therefore, once you have integrated the simple fx, the function which is denoted by simple fx, with the subject x, then we will get this equation in the form of capital Fx. This is what we are getting in the integration. Okay. First, and when we are going to discuss about the integration, actually this can be divided into majorly two parts. The first one is the indefinite integral, and the next one is the definite integral. In the indefinite integral, we are not going to consider any limits. Therefore, in general, we are performing integration. Therefore, we can say it as the indefinite integral. Therefore, we are not going to integrate a function for a specified value, set of values. Therefore, we will have it as a overall idea. Okay. Now, we will first of all we will pay our attention regarding the things that we have discussed in the previous sessions regarding the differentiation. Now, what you had learned, or what we have discussed at the previous session was, now think about if c is a constant, and if you are obtaining the derivative for this constant c with respect to x, what you will obtain as is 0. Therefore, you have learned it as the derivative of constant is equal to 0. Therefore, now if you are having the function in this form, now think about if fx is actually a function which is having the x terms only, and then the complete function is made by adding this fx to a constant called c. Therefore, now if you are differentiating this function with respect to a, you may be able to identify simple fx. It is quite like this. Now think about if you are obtaining these two functions. Now think about this is the function you are considering as fx. Let fx be equal to x plus 2. And if I take the derivative for this fx with respect to x, if I take the derivative of fx with respect to x, what I am getting here is just derivative of x equals 1 and derivative of 2 is equal to 0. It is, since it is a constant, therefore I am getting the derivative of fx as 1. If we are doing if we have done this thing in differentiation, now once we come to the integration, what we would be able to do is, once you integrate this 1 with respect to x, you would be able to identify the function x plus 2, and we will consider another case for this. Now think about what will happen if your fx is this. If you take fx equals x minus 6, if you consider the derivative of fx with respect to x, here also you will get the value as x. Now what you need to do is, according to the theories that we have, according to the fundamental idea of integration, what we would be able to do is, once you integrate this 1 with respect to x, you need to identify your fx in this form. Or else, if you integrate this 1 with respect to x, you should be able to identify the fx as x minus 6. But how you are defining whether you are integrating 1 with respect to x, whether you are getting x plus 2 or x minus 6. Therefore, in generally, we cannot get conclude what is the exact function that we are getting in this integral. That is why we are saying it as the indefinite integral still. Therefore, what we need to do is, if you are integrating a function with respect to the given any given subject, then what we have to do is, first of all, we need to integrate this function with respect to x, and we just need to identify a basic function. We can say it as capital Fx. It is denoted in the integration also. First of all, you need to apply this integral technique here, appropriate integral technique here, and first of all, you need to identify a function as capital Fx, and at the end of this function, you need to add this constant c. It is because c is, since the derivative of constant c is equal to 0. According to this example also, you can clearly identify that if you obtain the derivative for 1, definitely you will get it is, if you are getting the integral of 1 with respect to in the subject of x, definitely you will get this value as plus x. We will see how we can get them, and then what you have to do is, you have to add an constant. Therefore, this constant can be have any value. Therefore, in general, we are saying it is a constant c, and then according to the first example, c would be plus 2. According to the second example, it would be minus 6. Therefore, this is why we are using the constant c in the indefinite integral. Therefore, if you are integrating this function, this integral function is not unique, and it can be defined by a constant. You can see in this example also. Once you integrate 1, then you may get x plus 2, x minus 6, or any other various function. Therefore, the function may be varied. Therefore, what you can do is, you can define it just by using a constant. Therefore, this form of integration is said to be the indefinite integral, and we are saying this c as an arbitrary constant. It means that c can be have any value. Therefore, the value c is an arbitrary constant which we are added to the integration. Okay, now we will go through the rules of integration. Now think about if f and g be two functions of x, and we will consider k as a constant. Now we'll see f and g are functions of x and k is a constant. Now if you are having a function multiplied with this constant k inside the integration, what you can do is you can take the constant out of the integration and then you can perform the integration for function fx. It is quite similar to the theories that we have discussed in the derivatives also. If a function is multiplied with the constant k in the derivative as well as in the integration, what you have to do is you have to take the constant out of the integration or derivative and then you have to perform the calculation accordingly. And the next thing, important thing that you have to keep in your mind is when you are differentiate x with respect to x. Now think about if you are having function x, it is the function fx. If you need to get the derivative of x with respect to x, then you are getting this value as 1. Therefore, stick into this concept. What we are saying is derivative of integral of 1 in the subject of x is 1 dx. Derivative of integral of 1 dx, this is generally equal to x. Therefore, by sticking into this concept, we will obtain the integral of 1 is equal to x. Okay. Now we will go through this example. In this example, it is saying that we need to obtain the integral of 6x dx. Therefore, now you can see that this is the function we are having 6 times x, and since 6 is a constant, we can take 6 out of the integral and then we can perform the integral for the remaining part. It is x times dx. And another example is here, it is minus 3x square dx. Now you can see that minus 3 is a constant, therefore we can take it out of the integral and then we can perform the integration for the remaining part. It is the x squared dx. And the second rule that we are going to consider under integration is, now we have identified that f and g are two functions of x. Therefore, now you may get another function which is defined as fx plus gx or fx minus gx. Therefore, if you need to obtain the integral of fx plus or minus gx in the subject x, then what you can do is you can perform the integrations for these two functions separately. You can perform integrations to these functions separately and then you have to apply the appropriate arithmetic calculation, whether it is plus sign. If it is plus sign here, then you have to use the plus sign, otherwise you have to use the minus sign. Therefore, this is one example. These are some examples I have included. You asked to obtain the integral of 6x squared plus 5x dx. Now you can see that 6 squared is one function you are having and 5x is another function you can see. Therefore, what you need to do is you need to first obtain the integral for this 6x squared and then you need to obtain the integral for 5x separately and then you have to perform the appropriate arithmetic calculation. Since it gives the plus sign initially, therefore you have to use the plus sign here. The next example is, it is 8x cubed minus 3x squared plus 5x plus 7. You need to integrate the integral for this function with respect to x. Therefore, what we can do initially is we can perform the integral for the terms separately and then you have to apply the appropriate sign. Here you can see that I have separated them using these terms. First, take the integral of 8x cubed dx, then 3x squared dx, integral of then 5x with respect to x, and integral of 7 with respect to x. Then since we see the minus sign here, we have to use the minus sign to connect the first and second term. Then for the remaining terms, you have to use the plus sign, since it's in the initial problem also it is given as plus sign. These are the very basic rules that we are going to use, which will be useful in the integration. Now we will go for the theorems that we need to consider under integration. The the integration of a constant. In here you have identified that integral of 1 is equal to x. Therefore, sticking into this fundamental, you can obtain a value for integration of any given constant. Now we will consider k be a constant, and if you need to take the integral of k with respect to x, if you need to get the integral of k with respect to x, what we can do is here we will have the function which is k dx. Since k is a constant, here I am taking it out. If I take the constant k out of the integral, what I am getting here is 1 dx. Since k is a constant, here you can say that k is equal to k times 1. Since uh, k is defined as k times 1, then I can take this k out of the integral, then the remaining would be 1. Therefore, if I consider the integral of 1 with respect to x, then I can say this as k integral of 1 is equal to x, and in the indefinite integral, what we can use is the arbitrary constancy. Therefore, if we are having the constant k, the integral of constant k with respect to x would be kx plus c, where c is an arbitrary constant. These are some examples included for the first theorem. Now we will see the integral of 1 dx. Now you can see that integral of 1 is x, and for this, since we are still in the indefinite integral, we have to use this arbitrary constant c. Then next example, it is integral of 6 dx. You can say 6 is equal to 6 into 1. Therefore, you can take 6 out. Then, if you need to consider this integral, then you can take the 6 out of the integral notation, and then again you are getting integral of 1 with respect to x. Therefore, you will again get this as simply 6x, and at the end you have to add the arbitrary constant c. Then next one is integral of minus 3 with respect to x. Here you can take minus 3 out of the integral, then remaining would be 1 dx. Integral of 1 is equal to x, and at the end you are adding arbitrary constant c. In the next example also the same method used. You have taken 3 divided by 2 out of the integral, since it is a constant, then integral of 1 is equal to x with respect to x, then at the end you are adding the arbitrary constant c. And the next important thing you have to keep in your mind is when you are adding this arbitrary constant, since it is actually the same thing that we are adding it for the final answer, you have to define what is this c. Therefore, you can say for each and every point, c is an arbitrary constant. It's arbitrary constant. You have to type for here. Okay, now we will move for the next one. The next one is the power rule for integration. When we are discussing the power rule for integration, actually we are considering the two forms of power rule. This is the first form we are considering for the power rule for integration. Now think about if the function is given in the form fx equals x to the power n. If it is given in the form fx equals x to the power n. Now we'll see how we can perform this integration. And if you are using the power rule for integration, there is a condition you have to check. The power cannot be equal to minus 1 if you are using this concept. If you need to use this theorem, then the value of n cannot be equal to minus 1. If value is n becoming minus 1, then we have to consider for an alternative method. Therefore, if you are using the power rule for integration, value of n cannot be equal to minus 1. Therefore, if you are integrating this x to the power n with respect to x, then you can get it as x to the power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1, and at the end you have to add the arbitrary constant c. This is what we are getting for integral of x to the power n with respect to x. What we have to do is, here you can see the form of x to the power n. Then you first of all you are writing x to the power, then n plus 1 x as it is, then n plus 1 would be the power. It means 1 is added to the existing power and then divided by the value that you are obtaining as the power, then add the arbitrary constant c. Here we can see some examples regarding this also. You can see the first example is integral of x squared dx. Now you can see it is the form of x to the power n, and the next thing is, you can apply this form if you can see the exact form of x to the power n only. Otherwise you have to find an alternative method for perform this integration. Therefore, now you can see that integral of x square dx, now you can see that this is given as x to the power n plus 1. It is 2 plus 1 divided by n plus 1. The existing power is 2. Then it has to be add 1. Then the final answer would be x to the power 3 divide by 3, and you have to add this c since it is an arbitrary constant that we are defining at indefinite integral. The next example is x to the power 7. Here you can see that the value of n is equal to 7. Then therefore you can use the power rule that we have considered. The answer you are obtaining as x to the power 7 plus 1 divided by 7 plus 1. Then you can get the value as x to the power 8 divided by 8 plus c, where c is an arbitrary constant. The next example is integral of x to the power minus 5 with respect to x dx. Integral of x to the power minus 5 dx. Here you can see the value of n is equal to minus 5. Then you can obtain the answer as x to the power minus 5 plus 1 divided by minus 5 plus 1. Then you can see the value as x to the power minus 4 divided by minus 4. Now you can just make some modifications for this answer. Now it means that like taking the, can convert these minus powers to the negative powers to the positive powers. Then what you can do is, we have to consider the reciprocal of this power. Therefore you can simply you can say that minus power 4 is equal to 1 1 divided by x to the power 4. Therefore you can stick into this concept, but there is one term called this is divided by minus 4. Therefore you will get this as minus 1 divided by minus 4 times x to the power 4. Therefore that is why I have considered this as minus 1 divided by 4 to the 4 times x to the power 4. Then this has to be at this arbitrary constant c. And the next example is integral of 1 over x to the power 9. Here you cannot exact as soon as in the initial equation or initial expression, you cannot see the form of x to the power n. Therefore what you have to do as the first step is, you have to convert, or you have to make this function in the form of x to the power n. Then once you make this into the form of x to the power n, then you will get this as the integral of x to the power minus 9, integral of x to the power minus 9 in the subject x. Then we can perform, or we can use the theorem that we have discussed for power rule. Then it will give the answer as x to the power minus 9 plus 1 divided by minus 9 plus 1. Then you are getting this as x to the power minus 8 divided by minus 8. Then we can see the answer is minus 1 over 8 times x to the power 8. 1 over 8 times x to the power 8, and here also we have to add the arbitrary constant c here. Then we will move to the next form of the power rule for integration. In the first part, we have discussed about what will happen if we are having the function in the form of x to the power n. And as the second part, we will consider about the power rule for integration if we are having fx as a linear function. Now you can see that the function is defined, the function inside this power is defined as ax plus b. Now we will see what we can do here, and the condition is samely applied here also. N cannot be equal to -1. Then if you need to get the integral of the form ax plus b to the power n dx, what you can do is first you can write the function as it is in the numerator, then the power is increased by 1 unit, therefore it is written as n plus 1, and then same as previous you have to divide this content by n plus 1, the power which appears here, and in addition to that what you have to do is you have to divide this whole part by this coefficient of x. Therefore here we, since the coefficient of x has used as a, then we have to divide this part by a, and you can apply this power rule if you can see the function fx in this form. Here you can see in the brackets it should be a linear function, it is in the form of ax plus b, and then you should be able to see the common power as n. If it is given in this form, then you can take the integral as ax plus b to the power n divided by n plus 1 times a, where a is the coefficient of x, and at the end you have to add the arbitrary constant c here. In the first example, you can see that it is given as 2x plus 5 to the power 2. You have to get the integral of this. Then you can see it is given as 2x plus 5 to the power 2 plus 1. Since the power is 2, you have to add 1 to the existing power. Then divide the whole thing by this, the quantity which appears in the power, and then you have to again divide the function by the coefficient of x also. Therefore, you can get this as 2x plus 5 to the power 2 plus 1 divided by 2 times 2 plus 1. Then you can get the answer as 2x plus 5 to the power 3. It is the one added to the existing power. Then divide by 6. 6 is obtained as 1 added to the power into the coefficient of x. The next example is, it is 3 minus 8x to the power 5. You need to identify the integral of 3 minus 8x to the power 5 with respect to x. Then we can get this as, here also you can see that it is quite in the form of ax plus b. Here the function we are having is 3 minus 8x, and if you take this x term first, then you can get this as 8x plus 3. Then here you can see that value of a is minus 8. This is value of a, and value of b is plus 3. Therefore, now you can see it is in the form of x plus b. Therefore, you can apply the same concept. Then you are applying it. Then 3 minus 8x power plus 1. It is 5 plus 1. Then it has to be divided by the power plus 1. It is 5 plus 1. And again, the denominator is multiplied with the coefficient of x. Since it is given as coefficient of x, it is given as minus 8. Therefore, you have to multiply it by minus 8. Then you are getting final answer as 3 minus 8x to the power 6. It is minus 3 minus 8x to the power 6 divided by 48. And at the end, you have to add the arbitrary constant c also. The next example, it is given as integral of x divided by 3 minus 8. First of all, we need to check whether it is telling with the form given as x plus b. The quantity given for us is x divided by 3 minus 8, and this can be written as 1 over 3 times x is 1 over 3 times x, and subtract this 8 from this quantity. Now you can see it is again in the form of x plus b. Here you can see the value of a is now equal to 1 over 3, and value of b is now equal to minus 8. A and b are these values you can see in this calculation. Then value of n, you have identified this as plus 4. Then the calculation that you can perform is here you can apply the write the same function since it is the form of x plus b, and then power plus 1 would be here it is 4 plus 1. Then you have to divide the whole quantity by 4 plus 1, and the next thing is you have to multiply the denominator by the coefficient of x. Here you can see that coefficient of x is 1 over 3. Then if you perform the calculation, then you will end up with this as 3 times x divided by 3 minus 8 to the power divided by 5. And then here the arbitrary constant is added to the final step of calculation. But anyhow, once you perform the calculation for these places also, you can add the arbitrary constant since the integral sign has now vanishes from the calculation. Therefore, as soon as the integration sign removes from the calculation, from that stage you can add this arbitrary constant. But anyhow, for the final answer, I have added this arbitrary constant. Okay. The next one is the logarithms in integration. The next one is the logarithms in integration. Prior to discuss the things with the logarithm in integration, first of all, we will see what we have discussed in the previous sessions regarding the logarithmic functions, the derivative of logarithmic function. Here you can see if the function is ln x, and if it is given as ln x, and if you ask to get the derivative for the function ln x, what we have obtained was it was 1 over x. It was 1 over x. And if you have the function in the logarithmic form ln fx, if you have ln fx, what you had done was in the derivative with respect to x for this function, first of all, you have written the function as the denominator. The function inside this natural logarithm was written as the denominator, and then what you had done was you had considered the derivative of fx as the numerator. Therefore, you have written this as f dash x. Now we will going to consider this form. This is the form that we have obtained in the derivative. Now we will use the form that we have considered as f dash x over fx for integration. It means that if you have integrated this quantity, then you should be able to obtain the function as ln fx. Therefore, the theory behind the logarithm in integration is, therefore, now we will consider f dash x be the derivative of fx. Then, if you can see the form f dash x over fx in the denominator, you must be able to see the derivative of the function appear in the denominator. Therefore, if your numerator is contains a function which is quite the derivative of the function which is appears in the denominator, and if you are considering the integral of this quantity with respect to x, then you can directly get it as ln fx plus c, where fx is the function that you can see in the denominator and c is an arbitrary constant. You can apply this rule for these scenarios. These are some examples I have taken. And here I have taken the very first example is integral of 1 over x dx. Now you can see the function which appears in the denominator is x. And if you see the numerator, you can see the derivative of x is equal to 1. The derivative of x is equal to 1. Therefore, now you can see that the derivative of the function appeared in the denominator is now appeared in the numerator, and since you need to get the integral, it is now in the form of f dash x over fx with respect to x, then you can directly take this as ln the function is x now plus c using this theorem. And if you see about the very first example, what you can see here is it is actually the integral of 1 over x dx. Now, if you now as soon as you see this form, you may think that you may be able to convert this into the form of x to the power n. If you convert this into the 1 over x, then you can see that now it is in the form of x to the power n, where n is equal to minus 1. Therefore, if you need, you can write this as x to the power minus 1 dx. Now you maybe understand why we have used a condition calling n does not equals minus 1 when we are using the form of integral of x to the power n. This is why we have used a condition called n cannot be equal to minus 1 if we are using the form of the integral of x to the power n. If you apply that theorem, then definitely it will go for the indefinite format. It is once you come to this point, that now you can see what will happen if it is n plus 1. The final answer contains 0 in the denominator. Therefore, definitely you cannot obtain an answer. Therefore, the solution for that is using the logarithms in integrals. Therefore, since you are having x to the power, since you can see x to the power minus 1 can be written as 1 over x, then you can apply the concept called the logarithms in integration. Okay, the next example for this logarithms in integration, if you again refresh our mind regarding the theory that we have discussed here we need to have the derivative of the function which appears in the denominator as our numerator. Then for such a function, the integral can be obtained as ln. The function here is the function which appears in the denominator. In the second example, you can say that the function appeared in the denominator is x squared plus 5x minus 7. Then in the numerator, you can say this is the function. This is the function that we can see as the derivative of this quantity. Here it is a derivative of x squared plus 5x plus minus 7 is 2x plus 5. Now you can see that f dash x is on top of the function fx, then integral can be done using the concept that we have discussed under logarithms in integration. Then you can use this as ln. Inside this natural logarithmic function, you can have the value as x squared plus 5x minus 7, since it is the function which appeared as fx, and then you have to add the arbitrary constant c. The next example is x to the power 7 plus 3x squared minus 2x plus 9, and it is the function which we can see in the denominator, and function we can see in the numerator is 7x to the power 6 plus 6x minus 2. If you see the relationship between these two functions, you can see that the function in the numerator, it is actually the derivative of the function which we can see in the denominator. Therefore, for such integral, you can use the concept called use under this logarithm, then you will get it as the function including natural logarithmic, and the function inside natural logarithmic would be x to the power 7 plus 3x squared minus 2x plus 9, and at the end you have to add the arbitrary constant c. The last example for this part would be, it is integral of 15x squared minus 6x minus 2 divided by 5x to the power 3 minus 6x squared minus 2x plus 7. Here also you can see the derivative of this quantity is now appeared in the numerator. The derivative of 5x cubed minus 3x squared minus 2x plus 7 is equal to 15x squared minus 6x minus 2. Then you can get the integral for this as natural logarithm of the function which you can see in the denominator. Therefore, you can get the answer as it is ln 5x cubed minus 3x squared minus 2x plus 7. But when we are going for some calculations, sometimes we cannot exactly see the derivative of the function in the numerator. Consider this example also. Now, You may think that this is one example you can have. You may take x squared plus 6x minus 9. And the function that they have given here is, it is called x plus 3. This is the function they have asked us to obtain the integral with respect to x. Now, you cannot apply any rules that we have discussed so far. It is because for this quantity, it is because this is not in the this is not an actually an identity function, or it is not just an constant. It is not in the form of x to the power n, as x to the power n, and it is not in the form of x plus b to the power n. And according to the theories that we have discussed so far, if you check whether the function appears in the numerator, whether it is just the exact derivative of the quantity in denominator. Now we will consider the quantity in denominator first. It is x squared minus plus 6x minus 9. If you take the derivative of this function with respect to x, then you will get the quantity as it is 2x plus 6. If you compare the quantity obtained for derivative of fx and the quantity which we can see in the numerator, these are not equal quantities. But you can see there is a slight relationship in between these two. If you multiply the quantity in numerator by 2, then you can make it as 2x plus 6. If you can make this place as 2x plus 6, then we can apply the concept that we have discussed under the logarithms in integration. Therefore, in a situation like this, since this is the only method that we can use, then first of all what we need to do is we need to make f dash x in the numerator. Here we can have squared plus 6x minus 9 in the denominator. Then the derivative of this function can be obtained just by multiplying this quantity, the quantity that we can see here is x plus 3, and if you multiply this quantity by 2, then you can obtain the uh, this 2x plus 6. But what you have done here was you have just multiplied the numerator by 2. Therefore, if you multiply numerator by 2, definitely we have to multiply the denominator also by 2. Therefore, without by sticking into the concept, what we can do here is, since we are just multiplying the denominator by 2, we can write it as half. Since we need to multiply denominator by 2 is, you just need to put 2 here. Therefore, what I have done at the single step, I have taken this 2 out and I have written it as multiplied by half. Now you can see that 2 and 2 cancel out. Therefore, you can see here you are just having half into 2, which is again multiplied by 1. Now, this is the quantity that you are having for the integral. Then you need to get the integral, and what you have obtained was here you have already obtained the value half. And now you can see the quantity that you have obtained as the derivative of fx is now appear in the numerator. Then you can apply the concept learned under natural logarithm. Therefore, you can take the final answer as ln, it is x squared plus 6x minus 9, and at the end you can add this arbitrary constant c. You can add the arbitrary constant c here. This is one example that we can consider if the exact value of this derivative is not appears in the numerator. Okay. In the other way around also, you may see this calculation. It is quite like this. Now think about what will happen if you have obtained a function in this form. Now we will see, this is the integral we are having. You are asked to get the integral for x squared plus 6x minus 9 respect to x, and here you can see the values were given as 4x plus 2. You can see that values are given as 4x plus 2. As soon as you see this this is the initial equation they have given us for integration, then you can see that the function which appears here is x squared plus 6x minus 9, but 4x plus 12 is not the derivative of this quantity. If you consider the derivative of this quantity, you can see x squared plus 6x minus 9 is the function you are having, and if you take the derivative of this quantity, then it would be equal to 2 times x plus 6. But in the numerator, you can see that um, the numerator is exactly twice as this quantity. Numerator is exactly twice as this quantity. Even though you can take this 4 out of this calculation, we are not going to do it. It is because uh, it just give any worth for the calculation. Therefore, what you need to do is we'll try to make this 2x plus 6 in the numerator of this calculation. Therefore, what you can do is you can simply take 2 out of this. Here you will have the denominator x squared plus 6x minus 9, and what you can do here is I need to make 2x plus here. Therefore, what I can do here is I can take 2 out of this, and then the remaining would be equal. If you take 2 out of this 4x plus 12, then remaining would be 2x plus 6. Since this 2 is a constant, I can directly take it out of the integration. Then the remaining would be now equal to integral of x squared plus 6x minus 9, and this is now equal to 2x plus 6. I can take this constant out of the integration according to the very first rule that we have discussed. Then here also we can apply now the concept learned under logarithms in integration for this part. Then the final answer can be obtained as it is 2 is a constant, it is 2 times in length. The function is x squared plus 6x minus 9, and arbitrary constant is needed to at the end. Therefore, this is how we are dealing with the logarithms in integration if the exact function is not appeared in the numerator. Now we will focus on the exponentials in integration. Exponentials in integration. Okay, you may have this kind of exponentials in integration. Now, if you ask to get the derivative prior to discuss about the exponentials in integration, if you refresh the mind regarding what we have done in the differentiation, if you had e to the power ax plus b, if you had e to the power ax plus b, if you have this integral, what you have done was you have written down the function as it is. It was e to the power ax plus b, and then this quantity was divided by this quantity was this quantity was multiplied by a. This quantity was multiplied by a. Therefore, you have obtained the derivative in this form. In the integration, what we are doing always is we are doing the reverse way. Therefore, in here we had multiplication. Therefore, in the integral, what we are using is division. Therefore, if you see about this quantity now, you can see that if you ask to get the integral of e to the power ax plus b dx, then what you can do is in the numerator you will have the function as it is. It is e to the power x plus b, and this has to be divided by the coefficient of x. Here you can see coefficient of x is now equal to a. Then The integral of e to the power x plus b dx is now obtained as e to the power x plus b divided by a, and at the end you have to add this arbitrary constant c. Okay, these are some examples I have considered. It is integral of e to the power x dx. Here what we are getting is, we can see it is the form of e to the power x plus b, where the value of a is equal to 1 and the value of b is equal to 0. Then you can apply the theorem for exponential in integration. Then you will get it as e to the power ax plus b divided by a, where it having value of a is equal to 1 and b is equal to 0. Then you can get it as e to the power x plus c. The next example is, if you are having e to the power 2x plus 5 dx, then what you have to do here also, you have to write down the exponential function as it is in the numerator, and then it has to be divided by the coefficient of x appear in the power. Then you have to divide it by 2. Then final answer for integral of e to the power 2x plus 5 dx is e to the power 2x plus 5 divided by 2 plus c. In the third example also, you can see in the third example it is integral of e to the power minus 3x plus 5 dx. First of all, you have to write down e to the power minus, here it should be correct as e to the power minus 3x plus 5, e to the power minus 3x plus 5, and this has to be divided by minus 3. Since this is needed to divide by minus 3, I have taken minus out of the calculation. Then we will just remain the value as 3. Therefore, if I write the answer, complete answer here for this part, here we will get this as first we will get this as e to the power minus 3x plus 5, and this is now divided by minus 3, since minus 3 is the coefficient of x. Then the final answer can be obtained as e to the power minus 3x plus 5 divided by 3, and this minus has taken out. Then you have to add the arbitrary constant c. As the last example, you can see that it is the integral of minus 8x minus 7. Then you can get the answer as e to the power minus 8x minus 7, it should be minus 8x. For this part also, if I write the answer separately by omitting this part without considering about this, if I take the answer here, I will get it as e to the power minus 8x minus 7. This is the function which appears, the power which appears as a function. Then this is now divided by minus 8, and at the end you have to add arbitrary constant c. Therefore, you can simplify it furthermore. Then you will get it as e to the power minus 8x minus 7. Then this has to be divided by 8 and add the arbitrary constant c. Okay. This is all what I need to discuss for this session, and thank you all for participating in this session.